Hey VC, hope you're having a good week. Uh, As soon as I start the video, the train starts going by. Uh, let's roll with it. So you may have noticed that there's a thread going around for songs for a funeral, which I know is kind of, it could be seen as kind of a morbid topic, but I don't really see it that way. To me, funerals, while yes they are sad, also have a strong tinge of optimism to them. And there's something about a lot of the music that I like specifically that really hits on that exact emotion of, yeah, kind of sadness or darkness, but a lot of it has a tinge of optimism. A lot of the time, not all of it. But all these songs that I picked here do. So I guess I might as well just get into it. First, I'll go ahead and give thanks to Andrew again at Tales from the Crate for coming up with this thread. He comes up with lots of great ideas, and I wasn't exactly sure what my video this week was going to be, but as soon as I saw this, I knew I had to make an entry for it. So, oh, and Dean at Grandma's Handbag also had a fantastic video. Again, talking about more of the thought behind his picks. So I'll start with a record that I think really you could play the whole thing at a funeral and it all fit, because it all kind of fits that exact emotion I was describing of sadness tinged with optimism or kind of beauty in certain ways. But it's Sigur Rós, their untitled record, or parentheses. The song I'll specifically talk about is Untitled 1, which is just the opener. It opens with just piano, kind of simple chords. Instruments kind of come in and it builds, and then the vocals come in and it just keeps building to a kind of thing, just repeating the same kind of somber chords over and over again. And as I've mentioned before about Sigur Rós, all their vocals are kind of they're definitely not in English, and they're an Icelandic band, but they don't always sing in Icelandic or whatever. I'm sorry, I don't know the language they speak there. They don't really speak in that language. They kind of make up their own kind of language, or just use syllables and things that sound nice with the music, and it's very effective in my opinion. So yeah, the track Untitled 1. I wish I could do a needle drop, but I'm still kind of working on figuring that out. But that would be my pick, maybe for like an opening thing. Maybe a bit of an obvious one here, and I'll just say, at the risk of talking about the same albums over and over again on my channel, that the point of this video is it's, about my funeral, my theoretical funeral. Not that I think I would personally pick out a playlist necessarily of music that I would want played. I don't know if I would honestly really care, because again, funerals are not really for the departed, they're for the people that are left. So I don't know if there would be any music at my funeral, but at the risk of talking about the same records over and over again, these happen to be a lot of my favorites. You may have noticed a lot from my top 100 list, and I'll just get into it. All Things Must Pass, George Harrison. The title track, All Things Must Pass, specifically has helped me through a lot of times like that. Like, I've lost a pet before, as I was kind of just discovering this record, and that was kind of serendipitous timing, because really that's a really powerful song, sort of about, life and death, and sunrise, sunset, or cloud and sun. It's kind of tying it all together with nature and the universe, and how, yeah, all things must pass, and that's excuse me, that's just kind of a universal rule that you can't really escape, but there's kind of something beautiful about that. And I think it's kind of self-explanatory. And if you've heard the song, which I'm sure most of you have, it's really touching. So I knew I wanted to pick one from Bridge Over Troubled Water, but I wasn't sure which one. I'll go ahead and mention both of them. The first one was So Long, Frank Lloyd Wright. Maybe in the context of the record, it's more about Simon and Garfunkel kind of splitting up. you know, I'll remember all the nights we'd harmonize till dawn, never laughed so long, so long, so long. It's definitely about a departure. You could easily see it as a death, and again, I think it's kind of beautiful, a hint of sadness, a hint of optimism, and then the closer, Song for the Asking, which I feel kind of ties up the entire discography very well. It again feels like a definite ending, and thinking it over, I've been sad. Thinking it over, I'd be more than glad to change my ways for the asking. Ask me and I'll play all the love that I hold inside. Really beautiful Paul Simon lyrics there. Probably one of his probably 20 best songs. I think it would work well in a funeral. Soundtrack pick here. I don't think I've ever talked about this on my channel, but the Interstellar soundtrack. Interstellar is probably in my top 10 favorite movies. The soundtrack is amazing. It's by Hans Zimmer, who's probably one of the best living composers. Cool gatefold there. The movie kind of touches on a lot of themes. One of them being death, actually, or extinction, and just kind of venturing into the unknown. Obviously, is a huge part of it. But the track, the open side B on the record is "Stay," which, if you've seen the movie, it plays about maybe a third of the way through as he's actually leaving Earth for the mission, and again, it kind of starts as a slow or very very quiet string part that builds and builds and gets louder and louder. And one of the coolest things about this soundtrack is when it has that dynamic range of they'll play as quietly as possible so you can really barely hear it, and at the same time or in the same track they'll build to where they're almost blowing out the microphones, it sounds like. That's an intentional decision. But that track specifically, again, is kind of about a departure, going into the unknown. They use that poem, "Do not go quietly into that good night," over and over in this movie, and kind of touches on that same theme as well. Or "Do not go gentle in that good night." I'm sorry, I messed it up. Yeah, fantastic. And kind of keeping along the same kind of space theme is Brian Eno's Apollo, Atmospheres and Soundtracks. You guys know where I'm going with this probably, but the track and ending, Ascent, it would be a really beautiful beautiful addition to any kind of playlist, but especially a funeral. Instrumental, ambient, but still somehow touches on the emotions that I keep bringing up, and also a little bit of the exploration theme, kind of the unknown, or the beyond, whatever you want to call it. That's getting a little 2001 Space Odyssey, I know, but that's kind of how I feel about death in a lot of ways. Similar to that same theme is this track off in Rainbows by Radiohead called Reckoner. I've mentioned before, if you've never listened to Radiohead before, I think this would be an awesome album to start with. And if you don't really want to listen to a full record, I might even just suggest the track Reckoner. It's just kind of it's real simple. It's just guitar, bass, drums, vocals, and the vocal layering on that track specifically, like the multi-track harmonies from Tom, the singer, and there's a bridge section that has the lyrics, "Because we separate like ripples on a black shore," in Rainbows. That kind of paints a really good picture, in my opinion, of what happens when you die. I know this is such a morbid topic, I'm sorry, but when you die, I feel like without getting too into it, you just kind of it's kind of like a release, or like a, not like a breakdown, is not the right word, but maybe it's sort of, you just kind of meld with the universe, and you yourself kind of separate, not into nothingness, but into existence itself. Um, so I think the lyrics in this song perfectly fit it. And the last one, I'm stealing this from Andrew. You gotta have the ending of Abbey Road on there. Through I'll just do Golden Slumbers, through Carry That Weight in the end. Maybe the whole solo section of the end would not fit that well, but I think the very last bit would. You know, in the end, the love you take is equal to the love you make. Kind of a nice sentiment. And Andrew mentioned the track Golden Slumbers itself. It's a really beautiful, beautiful moment, and really in their entire catalog. And I feel like a lot of people that aren't even Beatles fans really love that track if they've heard it. And Carry That Way is just kind of a musical continuation of that same feeling. They're really, really one of the same song, in my opinion, that just kind of goes into the end. And I might even throw Her Majesty in there just for like to end with a wink, you know. But yeah, I can't pass that up. I just can't. So that's all I've got for that. I know it's maybe a little sad to think about, and I don't anticipate to be going anywhere for quite a long time, but it's sort of interesting to think about, kind of get a little bit of deeper thought out into the VC, and maybe with my kind of personal feelings on a lot of things. It's heavy, I know, but I don't think it's wrong to think about. I don't think it's necessarily means something's wrong with you if you think about that kind of thing a lot. But it's one of the great aspects of the human experience, in my opinion. You know, there's life and there's death, and no one really knows what happens after. I know faith gets into a lot of people's feelings, and it probably does with mine as well. But a lot of the thing is we just don't know for sure, and that's a lot of what faith is for a lot of people. And without getting too much into the philosophical debate with any of you, I'll just leave it at that. If you really want to let me know what you think, just go ahead and leave a comment, and I'll see what kind of discussion we can have about it. But yeah, that's all I've got for this video. Got a couple more things planned out for in the near future. A couple things I want to maybe get started. Different video ideas. I always want to thank the VC for all support, and liking, subscribing, just viewing in general is awesome. I feel like I've been falling behind on videos. This happens every week. I feel like I fall further and further behind. I'm trying my best to catch up. I'm trying to leave comments where I can, but I don't just want to leave kind of a throwaway comment. If I leave a comment, I try to put at least a little bit of thought into it. But that does take time away from watching other videos, as ironic as that is. But the VC is huge, and there's a lot of videos being uploaded, and I'm really enjoying all of them that I've seen. You guys are fantastic, and you're picking up lots of great records. Lots of records I've never heard before that I want to check out. Threads like these that encourage a lot of thought and discussion. All the contests that have been going on. There's a couple that are about to conclude really soon that I'm excited for. The two that I've entered, Jeff's and Danny's. There's a couple more. I think I might enter Andy's 777 mixtape contest. I think that would be kind of a fun thing to think about. I'm just kind of rambling my thoughts now about the channel, the VC in general. So I appreciate you guys sticking through that kind of thing that I do all the time. And the kind of free form, maybe I should have planned this out a little better video. Maybe I should start writing some things down. That's all I got for this week. I'll see you guys next week. I'll be I'll be watching all your videos, commenting where I can or where I feel like it's really necessary. So thanks again. Take care.